Hey guys, Stephen Cox here, and today we're going to be comparing a full-scale electric bass to a U-bass with the metal round-wound strings. So if you like videos like these, please subscribe below and consider becoming a patron for the sheet music for this lesson and for many others. So first, let's talk about the pros of each bass. Now you've already heard both of them, so you have a good idea of how to compare the difference in sounds between picking, slapping, tapping, and just normal playing. So the pros of the bass guitar is that it gets that classic sound. You've got the full scale length strings, and they just provide a very substantial bass guitar sound that you've heard on many recordings, so there's that classic quality there. And also with the slap bass sound, you might be familiar with that particular tone because it's used in so many records in so many places. So that's a big advantage of the bass guitar, is you have the specific classic tones, especially if you go with something made by Fender. This is the Squier Classic Vibe 70s jazz bass, and it sounds a lot like the 70s Fender basses. So one big advantage to the bass guitar is the variety in tones you can get when you play it. Versus let's hear those slapped too. The full-scale bass has a little bit more variety in tone because it has two pickups, and not all of them do, but the jazz bass in particular has a bridge pickup and a neck pickup, so that you can go back and forth between the tones, getting some more bright tones with the bridge pickup and getting some warmer tones with the neck pickup. Another advantage to the full-scale electric bass is that you have the ability to level out the string volume. So I know on a lot of the U basses, sometimes the G string will be quieter than the others, and there's not a whole bunch that you can do about it, but there are a few things that you can do. But with the electric bass, every single string is on a different saddle. So you can change the string height of each one so that it gets closer to the pickup or further away. And if you don't want to change the string height, you can change the height of the pickup and the slant of the pickup, so that way, if you have one string that's quieter than the others, there's multiple ways to fix that. And then another advantage to the full scale bass is when you bend the strings, they don't roll underneath your fingers. They just bend naturally, and if you're pushing with a little bit of force, they don't roll underneath your fingers. And it's kind of something to get used to on the U bass, is the round wound strings kind of roll underneath your fingers. Another advantage of the full scale electric bass is just less string noise when you're moving around in between notes. You're not going to get as much of that. It's not going to pick up the fret buzz as much. You might notice some fret buzz like that, but it's not going to be anywhere near as loud as it would be on the U bass. So now let's talk about the pros of the U bass. One of the biggest ones is how portable it is. Just this small size makes it easier to store, easier to travel with, and just all sorts of things of that nature. But also, it allows the frets to be closer together. So when the frets are closer together, we don't have to stretch our hand out as much, which leaves a nice comfortable position for the hand. Then the string tension's just not as high. It's much easier to hold these strings down when you're playing notes. They require much less effort to play. So if you have any sort of wrist injury or anything of that nature that prevents you from holding strings down harder, then the U bass is easier. And I'd say that if the metal strings on the U bass still bug you, you can always switch over to the rubber strings, which have even less tension and are even easier to push down. The U bass also has a variety of tones. It just doesn't have as many tones as the electric bass. So especially this one, the Exotic Mahogany, it just has one tone knob that you can mess with. And so here are the differences with the tone knob. So if I turn the tone up to 9, we've got this sound. And as you can hear, there's a lot of string noise, but that's with the treble all the way loud. If we turn it all the way the other way, we get a warmer sound. So this bass has a lot of thump, and that's what's really cool about it. So the simplicity of this of just having two knobs on there could be considered an advantage for a beginner. It's a little bit more user-friendly in that sense. And as you can tell, when I was talking about the string noise before between the two, if you were to go to try to slide on this one, you'd get a lot of string noise just because of the type of pickup and the type of strings. And when you go to bend the notes, the string kind of like rolls underneath your finger, which is not a big deal, but it's hard to get used to at first. So just something to think about, and slides are a little bit more difficult on this one as well. Alright guys, that's it. So let me know in the comments below if you like the full-scale electric bass better or if you preferred the U-bass. There's a link in the description below to both of these so that you can check out more details like the scale length, the specs, all that stuff. And these links are affiliate links, so if you purchase through them, it supports the channel. If you like the music at the beginning of this video, the sheet music is available for patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next Tuesday.